Hi guys, welcome to another day on Youth Connect. My name is Emefa Adeti and so much in the news. And so today, two of my friends have joined us again and we'll be discussing the survey that the National Intelligence Bureau have conducted. And it seemed to have brought NAPO to the highest level, leading the persons that have been mentioned as the preferred choice as the vice presidential candidate that is appropriate to pair the candidature of Bawumia, the vice president, I should say. So today we're going to be discussing how that affects the NDC's choice as Vice President, Professor Nano Pokwajiman, if it matters at all, especially because both personalities have handled the education ministry sometime in their political careers. We'll be discussing that, and the other persons as well that are on that survey. And a little later, we'll also discuss how much the WAEC has mentioned that they will need to be able to conduct BECE this year. We have also heard that some amount of monies have been disbursed. Is that true? Is that okay to be able to conduct this year's BECE or not? When we have time, we'll also visit the parliamentary committee that has been set up to review the Constitution. I'm particularly excited about some parts of the Constitution. Will it get anywhere at all? Will it matter at all? Here is a platform where you would have your say. Let's spark conversations. Yes, so today I'm joined by two of my friends, Reginald Achinsu and also Akins Opoku. Let's have our discussion. Brah, Reginald.
Sorry. Hi, Emefa.
Hi. A good day na a good home.
I have no idea what you're talking about. You're talking about the change.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Is it real good?
I mean, I got it from Insha. Unless you tell me that what comes from Insha is not real.
You got it from Mensha?
Yes.
Oh, that's
I got my receipt from
He's asking you
Insha.
from.
You're a rich and DC guy.
I'm a young person that's also going through that.
Okay. Akins, how you doing?
I'm fine. It's been a while, and you are looking very beautiful
thank you.
this morning.
Thank you very much. So, were you excited when NAPO came up as the first on the survey?
Well,
that's quite an impressive margin that he pulled.
Yes, I was not surprised. Looking at the constituents that the research was based on, i.e., the constituency executives, basically the executives of the party from the national down to the grassroots level. You would realize that, and following the politics of the energy minister, that is Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe, you would realize that he's interested in supporting the base of the party. Just like the other names that have been mentioned, but he is always interested in investing in people, party people. I'm saying this because I have seen firsthand, his investment in colleagues and friends of mine. You go to him, he doesn't care whether you've worked for him before, whether you are from, constituency A, B, or C. Once he identifies a potential in you, he's able to invest in you. And so that culminates in, some of our members of parliament now, and even some of our CEOs who owe some sort of loyalty to him, to the position that they are occupying now. And so
does that influence their choices in any way? Does that amount to the fact that he is a preferred candidate, he is the best candidate, or it's the fact that people feel that they owe some sort of indebtedness to him, and especially because these are party members?
Yes. So for me, I think that this research is very important, because I'm of the opinion that, for you to win any elections in Ghana, one, you need to be able to mobilize your base, that is the party people. Two, you need to also appeal to the floating voters, and these two sections of voters coming together would make the difference for you. I think that our flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has that personality and the track record that would influence the floating voters on his side. What we are struggling as a party today is that because of the 8-year cycle, right? Some of the party people, one way or the other, are peeved. And so there's some sort of apathy that you would find, which is very normal because of the 8-year cycle. And so you need a candidate that would complement the candidature of His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, i.e. a candidate that would be able to whip your base, that is the base of the party, to rally behind the ticket of the MPP going into the 2024 election. That is why many researchers and people like ourselves, political activists, are saying that the MPP must choose a candidate from the Ashanti region. Because at the end of the day, the floating voters are not enough. You need to ensure that about 80 or 90% of your party base are voting. That is the only way you can win the election. And I think that the research would not be wrong in the person of Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, the Energy Minister.
I would have thought Dr. Edichum also does quite a great work.
Well, like I said earlier on, they all support the party one way or the other. But I'm saying that from where I sit, from what I've heard, and from first-hand experience, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh is somebody who invests in the party people, who appeals more to the party grassroots. And the research confirms that. Are you getting me? Because let me tell you something. When Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh was an education minister, he did something that for the first time, growing up, I have not seen it before. Met all SRC president and student leaders across Ghana.
What was his intention?
And the intention was that, not to sort them out. You see, the intention is that.
But why not though? They're students.
If
he can afford to
he could sort them out with, scholarship and support. It's part of sorting out, not necessarily money. Do you understand? When he met them, the idea was that, you see, these are student leaders. These are people who lead students at our various colleges and universities. And so let me meet them and understand what really are the concerns of the students body here in Ghana. And I think that it was one novel idea of an education minister. It amounted to something, because you had these young leaders, right, going to the education minister, telling the education minister directly the concerns that students are facing on campuses. What it means is that these student leaders are having a direct access to the decision maker, because at the end of the day, he sits in the helms of affairs. You have Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh being the education minister, and I stand to be corrected, but how long did you see teachers striking here in this country? You see, sometimes your negotiation skills and your personal relationship with people, and these are information that people are telling me, that you find an education minister then who would not even wait for you to write your press releases here and there. Once he senses that you people want to go on strike, he calls for a meeting and addresses your concern.
Okay, so I'm concerned about how we came by this theory, how the sample size out of the lot came up. So Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, Dr. Edichum, and also Brian Echampon.
Yes.
Brian Echampon. Let's start from Brian Echampon. What do you think got him onto the list?
Well, these are stalwarts of the NPP, right? And so once there is a slot for a vice presidential candidate, you would have people suggesting and people making propositions that, you see, looking at where they sit and stand, and looking at the credentials of these people, they think that they would be a better, vice presidential candidate too. And so you don't have to hear it from the candidate himself, but these are people that, they are suggestions that are coming from the party people. That, we think that Brian Echampon, looking at his credentials, Brian Echampon is a minister of state. And so, one way or the other, he qualifies to be a vice presidential candidate of the MPP. Same as Dr. Edichum, same as Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh.
Stalwarts, why not Untuni?
Everybody qualifies.
Okay.
Everybody qualifies to be a vice presidential. However,
yes, an option, because then you're talking about somebody who complements
the
candidature.
I am saying that all the names that have popped up, i.e., Dr. Edichum, Brian Echampon, and then Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, they are all good people that when the vice president mentions any of them,
I admire the personality of Untuni.
They are good people. Once any name
would you make him a choice?
Any name that the vice president, flag bearer will mention will rally behind that name. But I'm saying that per the research and the topic that you have placed before us, putting NAPO up of this research, and I am giving you, claims that suggest that indeed this research confirms that Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh is somebody who is able to identify with the party grassroots and the party base, which is an essential factor and key going into the 2024 elections.
Okay. We're going to Reginald shortly, and I wanted to look at the variables that went into it, but I'll be searching for that shortly. But Reginald, so were you surprised at the survey and the results of the survey?
All right, so Emefa, thank you very much, and a very good day to your viewers. I think this is the first time I'm being on this show, and I must commend you for putting together this one for young people to be able to come and then air our voices as well. I wasn't surprised that the survey put NAPO on top of the list. Okay. In fact, one of the things that I think I was saying before we even got on camera is NAPO has done very well by consistently keeping his name in the news as the running mate possible, or the running mate that Bawumia will be choosing. But is he really the right person for the job? That is why we are here to talk about. Okay. Ghana is at a crossroads, and where Ghana is, it's not about games. Where Ghana is about real work. It's about getting the hands dirty and taking Ghana out of the ditch that the MPP government have put us in. And one of the things that you want to list here is that you are picking a candidate because he has the base of the party, or because this person is able to whip people in line to support the party. No, it is not about the party Ghana anymore.
But it starts from the party.
I mean, it does start from the party, and I'm telling you that governing a nation is not governing a political party. Ghana is a serious business. And if already you have a presidential candidate that has taken Ghana as a joke, that makes promises and then comes back to say that I was joking, you wouldn't want to compliment him with a running mate that is also proposed or shown on countless occasions that he's very arrogant.
Okay.
I mean, that's very unfair.
Yes, this is NAPO I'm talking about. Okay. So I don't know.
He is?
One of the things, yes, so I'll run it through.
Okay.
First off, what I think is that Bawumia, His Excellency Bawumia, the presidential candidate for the NPP government, have looked through the NPP so many times, and he's struggling to get somebody to pair with him. In fact, the NPP constitution, that's what I'm saying that I'll run it through. Okay. The NPP constitution, which I've studied a little part of it, suggests that the presidential candidate should name his running mate exactly a year to elections. So if you remember, on 7th December 2023, Bawumia goes to the national executives of the NPP to tell them that he needs to buy more time, right? It's been 5 months already. It's been 6 months already, and he's still buying more time. Meaning, within the NPP, they have looted and shared so much that there's nobody that has the competency, the integrity to even man the vice presidential role, to the extent that there were names that suggested that the former Pentecost chairman, Apostle Poku, who was also on the list as one of their preferred candidates. This is how.
Give me a moment. Was he really on the list, or we suggested that?
I mean, you see.
On the survey, he was on the list. Yes, he was on the list. So I am not joking. I know what I'm talking about. Yes. And now back to NAPO being the one that led that list. I have heard several MPP grassrooters or MPP young people like myself that have been rooting for NAPO.
He said MPP people like himself, so I'm glad he has joined.
I said young people.
Even if NPP like himself does not mean he is. It means that they mimic his character or something. And you will behave. And you will behave.
There are young MPP guys that have said that they prefer NAPO, and their reason has been that anytime they go to NAPO, he's able to sort them.
Is that not a good? I like this conversation. Is that not a good trait of a leader, that young people are able to know that?
You see, I like the way you're trying to sugarcoat it, trying to make it sound very good and very sweet and very nice. But what I'm saying is, for young people to rally behind somebody who's able to sort them whenever they visit his office, that he's able to give them envelope to say that this is for transportation. It's not enough to say that this person is the right person to be the the potential vice president of a country like Ghana, which is at the crossroad, which at a state that we've never got into before, you know. And so that is why I see young people post him, young people within the party post him a lot, because anytime they go to his office, there's something for everyone, you know.
Yeah.
The second thing is that NAPO, the personality, right from education. I remember in your introduction, you said somebody that has been touted to be, who said very well in the education ministry. Who said that? The fact that he introduced the free senior school, it was under a standard that the problematic free senior high school was introduced, does not mean that he did very well within that office. And when we talk about education in the country, we are not just talking about senior high schools. And I am very interested and happy that one of the things we'll be talking about today is how we are treating our basic schools. And how up to now we've not even given WAEC money to carry on with BECE. When we are talking about education in this country, it is not just about high school. And even look at our state of our high schools. I remember when I was in high school, you go to, on Sundays, our students are so happy to go to the dining halls because they're going to eat jollof and chicken, you know, for the first, in the week. But now you go to our dormitories and they're in dilapidated manner because we say that, because of failure in school, there's no money to even be able to take care of these schools. You know, I'm not going to center my conversation on free senior high school, but just because you made mention that
it kind of precedes his personality.
It does. You made mention that he did very well within the ministry.
That's what it's said to be.
That is what.
Especially the president gave the credits. The president at some point in one of the Sith March speeches said the Ministry of Education was performing.
Even the president has said that his government has been the best ever since independence. And so how can I take a president like that serious when everybody, even the ordinary Ghanaian, the street girl knows that this government is worse off, you know?
Does it affect?
No, coming back to NAPO.
Okay.
Yeah, NAPO has positioned himself as the most arrogant minister I've ever seen.
Why? Why'd you say that?
Your colleague, journalist, you remember recently asked him about the doomsday situation in the country. Somebody under your watch, the energy ministry has produced. You're the ones who said that there's so much energy that's already produced, but we are witnesses and problems under you. And a colleague journalist just wants to find out from you, are we going to be seeing a timetable? You saw his position, you saw his demeanor, you saw how people came at him, and up to now, he has not even been able to come out to say, if this is not how I meant it, but if this is how you took it, sorry. Being sorry does not mean that you are even wrong. It means that you value the relationship and you want to maintain it. But he's still positioning himself like, Jomo. And I know if I say Jomo, I'm trying to mimic him and how he speaks. You get what I mean? He's so arrogant of a person. And I sat on one of your stations to even describe how I see him. I represent, anytime I hear of NAPO, I represent with 4 eyes.
What does that mean?
Irresponsible, insensitive, inconsistent, and incompetent. That is NAPO for you.
Emefa, I think that
Okay.
so
You will address that. I need him to touch on Dr. Edichum as well.
no problem.
Given the chance, will you rearrange the survey?
I do not think that I stand in any position to even rearrange the survey rearrange the names for the NPP government. I think that they have all rotted this country and they should pack themselves and go and sit somewhere and hand over the country to somebody that is competent enough to be able to run the country again.
Does anybody on this list threaten the strength of your choice?
Professor Jenana Okukajana, I see. One of the things I never said on any platform to say that Professor Jenana is coming because, Professor Jenana Okukajana came on the ticket as somebody that is ready to work, ready to get her hands dirty, to be able to get us out of the ditch. And that is what I spoke about her competence. The fact that I cannot trace any corrupt scandal close to her name. I spoke about her integrity. I spoke about there's so many things that she has been able to achieve as a technocrat within the education, within academia, then coming into politics as education minister. What she has been able to do, the things she even wanted to do, the things that she did, that people said that, she was trying to take people's blood for rituals and whatnot. The NPP tried on propaganda against her. Now it is coming at us and it's biting us. For now, we are having young girls that are not going to school because of period poverty. This was something that she saw and said that, out of the so many districts we have, we've been able to pilot 75 districts.
Okay,
that
so for
go
you,
through this.
So for you,
for me, there's nobody on that list that will match it. There's nobody.
Okay.
I think maybe they should go to Mars and look for somebody better.
Emefa, I think
the
that
planet Mars.
Oh yes.
You'd give me the opportunity to respond to some of the things that he said. I thought that we're going to have a very, decorous conversation. I didn't know he was going to, engaging.
He says that
Yes,
the choice
one,
of the
and
survey.
I'll expose some of the things that he said.
Okay.
One, he's sitting. You see, we have I've always been saying we have a duty to educate our listeners when we have such a huge platform. He sits here trying to postulate to our viewers that because the MPP Bawumia does not have anybody in the party, that is why up to now, he has not selected anybody as a vice presidential. And in fact,
he just quoted what the MPP
exactly. But what he failed to do is that he failed to tell our viewers that the same constitution of the NPP gives. Please.
I think was going to tell me that what I said was wrong. No.
Emefa. I sat here and I listened to him. He failed to tell our viewers that the same.
It is not my
please. You see, he knows I'm coming to expose him.
Expose me for what?
Okay, what
the
is
same article he quoted also gives our candidates the opportunity to go to the National Council to seek leave of the National Council. Please.
You did that. No, for you to say that you are coming to expose me. If you don't expose me, I will sue you for defamation.
See, we are having a very we are having a serious conversation here.
What?
No, he said.
What are you suing for defamation?
I'll make my point. You allow him. He only wants to distract me. Please. I sat here. I kept quiet. Let's have a very fantastic conversation.
I'm listening.
You are claiming that because the vice president has delayed in selecting a vice presidential candidate, it means that he does not find anybody competent in the NPP.
He's not the only person who shares it.
Emefa, calm down.
I am with you. I'm going to do the follow-up question.
God. In fact, he quoted an article in the NPP constitution, and I am telling you that the same NPP constitution gives the vice presidential candidate or the flag bearer the opportunity to seek leave of the National Council. And so Dr. Mahmood Bawumia has not erred in any way by delaying in the announcement. I'm coming.
So you seek leave. I want to understand that provision in your constitution. I'm not very familiar with the MPP's constitution. So the constitution provides that you can seek leave from the national executive, for time.
From National Council for time.
Okay.
Right?
For time. Okay.
For time. And so Dr. Mahmood Bawumia has not done anything wrong. Secondly, please.
Let's have a conversation. I'm with you, Reginald.
The precedents in our party in August.
Before you go to the precedents, I want to understand the provision.
I have just told you.
Indulge me. To seek leave for what? Historically, what has been some of the reasons why a presidential candidate will seek leave for time enough to choose to choose?
Emefa, you would agree with me the time where we elected Dr. Mahmood Bawumia as our flag bearer, right? That was somewhere in November, if my memory serves me right. And so, by the provisions of our constitution, that is the MPP constitution, 1 year means that he was supposed to nominate his vice presidential candidate maybe in December. That's 1 month. Just after he was elected. You see, in selecting a vice presidential candidate, there's a lot of consultations that goes on. It is not a one-time process. It is not an event, right? But it's a process. You need to consult a lot of people. And so what Dr. Mahmood Bawumia did was that, the same provisions of the constitution gives me right to seek leave of the National Council to give me an extended time. And in fact, Dr. Mahmood Bawumia is not behind time. In 2007, Dr. Mahmood Bawumia himself was nominated as a vice presidential candidate in August 2008 when we're going for the general elections. Do you understand? And so that argument he's making is neither here nor there. Please, I'm not done.
I just want to be able to tell my father,
Jesus Christ.
In which of my submissions did I even lie?
No, he didn't
I am saying that you are sitting. Please. You had your time. You had your time.
Okay, both of you. Let me have my time. Let me have my time. Both of you. Can you give me a piece of your time?
I've given you that.
Let's get clarity. So, yes, you're correct on the fact that the Constitution provides that in a year, you must name your vice president.
And I also sat here to say that.
But you went on to say that. But he has not been.
No. I said on 7th December 2023, he went to the Executive Council
to seek leave.
Exactly. That's what
you said that because
after 6 months of seeking leave.
Please.
What else? That is what I'm saying.
So for him.
So what is the
You
exposure?
think that you're seeking leave and thinking that he's not being able to
choose because there is no competent person in the party. It's neither here nor there.
So for you, it's time frame. The time that
exactly.
You guys.
You see, Emefa, I am not even. I have made my point.
Is it not enough time? If you don't,
it's okay. There's a lot of things he said that I want to address. So
okay, what
please,
address?
So please,
are you noting the things you want to rebut?
Please,
there's nothing to expose.
Oh, please.
You didn't expose anything.
Now, secondly, he sat on this platform, painting a picture that because some of the proponents of our party supporting the candidature of Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh is because he sought them. He gives them envelopes. Please.
He didn't say envelope.
Didn't you say envelope?
I said young people like myself, your colleagues,
repeat yourself.
One of the things that they tell me, one of the reasons why they gave me that they're talking about NAPO, is because NAPO sorts them, and he told me that you asked me if it is,
and he said what? And he said he gives them envelopes.
Okay.
Is it a lie?
No.
Is it a lie?
It is a big. See, it is a big fat lie. And Emefa, this is a big platform. You cannot sit here. Oh, please. Jesus Christ.
If you joke, I'll expose you people.
Reginald.
You know.
No,
Reginald.
If you try to
Reginald.
Wait.
Instead of you keeping it under tone and then continue, you are trying to make it like, Reginald is telling lies.
I am putting it to you.
You and your colleagues.
Oh, please.
I'll bet your name so.
I am putting it to you.
You are one of
that Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh has not given envelopes to any student or whatsoever just to support his vice presidential candidate.
What if he does? What's wrong with it?
No, Emefa, there's nothing wrong with it, but I don't want him to sit here trying to make a point as if that somebody has confided in him that Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh gives envelopes. That's aside.
Because you haven't given me evidence to back it up.
Yeah, but I'm saying is one of them.
Who's shaking it?
The one sitting by me.
I mean, I'll let it slide. I mean, there are a lot of things I want to talk about. Now, he makes a comparison of the fact that Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh has performed abysmally as an education minister.
Let's go back to the other point before we go to the performance.
Okay, no problem.
I have a concern that if we have said that per the survey by the National Intelligence Bureau, that it is party members, and if you go into the party members, you need somebody that invests in people.
Right.
What is the maybe language difference? What is the real difference between that he sorts people out, whether it is in an envelope, whether it is via wire transfer or anything?
Scholarship.
That also, what is really, if you want to look critically and we're not being critical about it.
In my earlier submission, I said that if somebody is sorting somebody out, it doesn't necessarily mean that the person is giving the person money. Sorting out could be that, honorable, please, I've gained admission to this university. Can you please help me secure some sort of funding?
In that case, he's not the one securing.
No.
Because the scholarships it's his personal scholarship.
No, I'm not saying that. You see, he's facilitating, right? And so in that sphere,
why are we giving credit to somebody who's supposed to do what
so in that, Emefa, in that context, right? You telling, if Emefa today, if I'm an education minister, and you come to me that, Ekins, I have a daughter or I have a cousin, right, who is schooling in maybe University of Ghana. He has applied to the GET Fund. Can you please facilitate, he's securing this scholarship? There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes, again, if I'm watching this today, I'll be hurt because if I don't have access to the
Emefa. No, I'm not saying that. You see, I'm not. You see, let us not divert the conversation. All that I'm saying is that Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh investing in his party people, right, does not mean that he gives them money.
But sorting is just a slang language to say that you invest.
The kind of impression that he sought to create on this platform is what I want to dispel.
Okay.
So now,
say it in a different way.
Emefa,
let's go to
thank you very much.
Because his issue is that when we had an issue and then we came to you, your response seemed to have been arrogant. This is his issue. He's not saying that
you see,
issue has been there.
What is arrogant about Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh?
Okay.
What did he say? A journalist asked him that, Mr.
Are we getting the timetable anytime?
Yeah, and he said that, please, let me, I'm on the floor.
Won't allow you to now.
No, Emefa,
No.
Oh, so you don't allow me to talk.
No, you don't kind.
You don't allow me to talk.
Don't you remember?
I remember.
Do you remember?
I remember.
Do you remember?
I remember.
Now tell us.
Now, a journalist asked the energy minister, looking at the power challenges that we are having, when are we expecting a timetable? Then he responded that, oh, the ECG has said that the challenges that we are facing does not warrant a timetable. Is that an arrogant
Is that what
He didn't say go and create your own timetable.
Is that he never said that? Provide it. Provide it.
Emefa.
Play the audio.
Emefa.
Play the audio.
If you are
Play the audio. Play the audio.
Then it,
Play the audio. I challenge you. I am daring you. Play the audio. I am daring you. Play the audio. No, I am daring you. Play the audio.
What the minister said.
He said that ECG has said
He said
that.
those who want the time, you can create their own time.
He never
what
said
he
that.
said.
He never said that. He never said that. He never said that. He never said that.
You lie somewhere, but this one is clear.
He never said that.
Anyways,
And so
you have my time.
no, let me land.
Land.
So
In
in
30
conclusion, the MPP, right, under the leadership of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is not short of competent people to choose as vice presidential candidate. In fact, as at when he's done with his consultation, he would name his vice presidential candidate, and that vice presidential candidate will complement that ticket that will beat John Dramani Mahama come 2024 elections. If he wants us to have,
the delay was as a result of him spoiling for choice.
Oh, no.
Not that he's fault.
No, never. I mean, there are a lot of competent people. There are a lot of competence. There are a lot of. You see,
some people are competent in the.
I have listened. No, I'm concluding.
Yes.
I'm concluding.
Don't even conclude.
20 seconds.
No, I don't want you to
20 seconds. 20
I don't want you to
seconds.
conclude.
20 seconds. I have listened to the spokesperson for the vice president, where he said that as it stands now, the vice president is clear in his mind who his vice presidential candidate is, and is submitting it to the National Council and going through the processes for approval. And so let us wait for that announcement.
You noted
I know there are a whole lot of things. There are a whole lot of lies. You know, he's clear in his mind who he has as his running mate. Well, we heard this about 2 months ago. How clear is that? Anyways.
Have you also considered that maybe the delay is as a result of the fact that he's fought for choice? Like he has many options.
I accept that. I don't think that there are no competent persons that are in the party any longer. They've all got their hands soiled, and they are not competent. They are not like.
But he will eventually come up with the vice president anyway.
At the end of the day, you know, he has
Okay,
to. But
next thing
there are so many things that he can start on this same platform to lie about. That John Mahama were prof for 3 years, didn't pay teachers and pay them only 3 months.
Yes.
It's a blatant lie.
Hey.
Hold on. Let me educate our viewers. I thought that is what we should do. Right?
Yes.
Under Prof. Jing as education minister.
That's empty.
Well, one time, and I mean, in all our schools, not our high schools or junior high schools, there were teachers like that. There were teachers that would come with some other people to class. That if they are not around, this is not even university level. In the university level, you call them TAs.
Yeah.
Right? But these are people that usually will come and take the maths class when the maths teacher is not around. You know, and it came out that there are a number of them that have been with the schools for about a year. It's not even 3 years. And what the government,
my internet.
these are the type of people. And in my school, in
Jesus Christ,
I had somebody like that who, at the end of the day, the school now had to start the process for him to join government teachers so that he'll be on the government payroll. So these are people who are not on government payroll. They're not government teachers. They were the headmasters. Oh, come and help us in this angle. Come, you know. And what even the Minister of Education at the time, Prof. Jinano Pukadman, decided to do is that although they are not recognized, they are not registered teachers. What would those? We still pay them 3 months of what we pay our teachers, and they worked for the supposedly.
So these were not professional.
They were not professional. They were not teachers. They were not teachers. These are list of names that headmasters and headmistresses have provided. That these are
they
people,
have the skill to teach. I mean it's a discussion for another time.
yes, these are people that come and help our students. Right? They come and teach us.
But to be fair,
it is not true.
To be fair, 3 years of not
it is not 3 years.
Let's just say.
I will even talk about the chalk issue. I've written it down. I'll talk about it.
I don't see a difference.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
this is the teacher.
To be fair, if I look at the reports from the special prosecutor up north, the number of teachers, purported teachers that were taking salaries that the schools didn't even exist.
Yeah.
This will be under the education.
No, you see, you see,
yes.
please. I've been asked the question.
No, but it's my time.
Allow me to answer.
He spoke about 15 minutes.
Please, I'll come back to you for you to.
No problem.
And so that issue of teachers not being paid for 3 years is a blatant lie. These are people, the names that were submitted. They are not government period. They are not government teachers. They just come to schools to come and help. Their names were put together. It was said that they had worked for a year, and Education Minister Prof. G. Nano at the time said that although you are not recognized, we want to give you 3 months' salary, what we give to our teachers. And to them, it was hallelujah for them because they didn't know that anything was coming at the end of the day. The second thing that he made mention of that
I have to verify.
You should
from my internet is not working. I would have given him.
It's not true. Teachers never work for 3 years and were paid 3 months. Like, would we be able to stay in this country? If you sure teachers were not paid for 3 years and were given 3 months, and you wouldn't have known about it.
We had some
and
allowances and all of
yes,
that.
Yes,
not this particular one.
Thank you. But the next thing he spoke about was inadequacy with respect to chalk. Oh, you see, I told you that you make mention of it because they've been told to say that they do not know the story.
What's the story?
This was a school.
So for you, everything there is a story.
Oh no,
so was there chalk or not? Was there chalk or not?
He's about to tell us the story.
What, I mean, story about what?
I want to hear the story.
Story about what?
I want to hear the story.
Was there chalk or not?
You don't know the situation. You don't know. You don't know. You were just told to come and say that she was not able to provide chalks. That is what you said. How was she not able to
tell us the story? Tell us the story.
This is a school, Kunkunkreni or something like one school like that. And the then second lady visited the school. And in a conversation with the headmistress, they said, some of the things we don't have are chalks. And even with that, you saw the demeanor of Professor Jenano Kukwajiman. And that is the picture that you have been trending anytime you make mention of her name. She got so mad and she descended on the headmistress. Why do you have to wait for the second lady to even come before you list your the things that are not inadequate and you make mention of chalk? She descended on them because there was.
But to be fair, it's the ministry that will provide chalk.
Even if, yes, the ministry is supposed to ensure that some things are provided. Let's say the ministry is to provide chalk. Let's say that.
But yes, it's under the education
ministry.
So ultimate responsibility. Ultimate responsibility.
Like, why do you have to wait for the second lady's visit before you even list chalk as one of them? You get what I mean? So it's not like chalks were not. It's not like media houses went to do a documentary and then found out that students were sleeping on the floor. It's not like media houses did a documentary and went to schools and saw the type of food students were eating. That is not it. This is second lady doing a corporate social responsibility, decides to visit the school, and the headmistress through a conversation says that, oh, Madam Second Lady, one of our things, let's get we need this.
Why would they say they need?
And I'm not saying that they don't need it. I'm saying holding all variables constant. That it is true what she said. What Prof said was that, why wait? Let me sure Prof is not in the schools. Why wait till second lady come before you tell me that, we don't have chalks? There's a reporting channel, and headmistress, you are the ones with the school. Prof cannot sit and have eyes in all. You are her eyes in there.
You see, Emefa.
You understand? I'm asking.
Emefa. You see.
Now the next thing make mention of is that Matupuku Prempe under his tenure. And
he's kept the lights on in the last 1 year.
Even in the education ministry, he made mentions, and I started to say that education is not just about high school. What was the ratio of a student per desk in our basic schools? I visited so many places in Salaga, and it was an eyesore what students are going through. How are students coming to school? What is the situation with students and textbooks? What is the situation with students and basic schools with past courses and all of that?
Under the era of
NDC. Yes, under the NDC, and I'll not even go under Mahama Mills Mahama administration. There was an eradication of 2,000 schools under trees, and we abolished that shift system within our basic school system of you remember those things? We had those who were the yellow and then the yellow and the brown, that their uniform were changed.
Yes.
They go to 8 to 12, then another session. That system was abolished. And before you can abolish such a system, you need to make sure that you are building more schools to be able to accommodate them. You get it? He also made Satya to say that educational infrastructure under the NAPO, Nanado-led administration.
There's more infrastructure in education.
God.
How?
How does to prove it? I'm unable to verify now
because built the University of Sustainable Development, right? University of Environment, and we built universities, changed polytechnics into technical universities, built a number of high community-day schools, and you're telling me that your infrastructural contribution to the education ministry is unmatched?
Does it threaten the NDC, the march.
Who?
The candidature of Bawumia and if NAPO, as he has been leading the survey conducted, doesn't threaten in any way. Nothing.
The NDCs, right now, what the NDC is thinking about is restoring Ghana to its past glories. Restoring Ghana
you need the power to
the path of progress. And that is what we are constantly working on.
Power, right?
And yes, so we are working on the power too. But NAPO, Bawumia does not threaten us. What we are doing is making sure that we are sharing a message that is resonating with the people. Going on a listening to
Rearing of lions. Rearing of lions.
You see, okay. Yeah. Right. You know, the viewers are watching this. And
he's struggling, but I mean.
How can people even think that Rearing of lions will not be dragged to that level? You know, going on a nationwide listening tour, listening to that. Oh no,
ask him about
I will not be dragged to that
the
level.
24-hour economy.
I will not be dragged to that level. Going on a listening tour.
So what is he telling the Ghanaian people? What is he telling the Ghanaian people?
Gentleman.
Why would they want to tell their approach?
Going on a listening tour, listening to the various.
So what is he telling the Ghanaian people? Explain the 24-hour economy to us.
And what we can do better when we get into power. We are doing everything humanly possible to ensure that we win the 2024 elections. And what I cannot wait is 7th December, where the true will of the people will be represented and will be shown on the ballot paper. And you will see, you will hear by 8th December, John Dramani Mahama and Nana Akufo-Addo will become the president and vice president. And so that we can restore the country back.
I think
that is what we are thinking about.
Okay.
Yes, I think that my brother Reginald is struggling, but my pardon him for that. Yeah. Now, you see, in his argument, he approbate and then reprobate, right? In another breath, he is accusing Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, right, for incompetence, because when you go to our secondary schools, the kind of food they are eating is not what is expected of them to eat and all of that, and so is impugning that on the competence of Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh. In another breath, on the chalk issue, he's saying that, but Professor Jenano Poku-Agyemang said that, why is it that you've waited? You should have reported. So for that one day, it is not the fault of Prof. J.
If you fail to listen,
oh God,
you always make argument that will call me back.
Let's go to the next.
He's not listening.
Let's go to the next topic.
Maybe we should do that because it still has something to do with education. It starts to do something with education and
let's
government.
Let's go to the constitution instead. Let's go to the committee. Or you want to talk about the BECE?
Our education ministry is dwindling.
Allow him. Let him make.
So why needs 50% to be able to conduct BECE? I don't know in the history of Ghana that BECE in a certain year has been postponed. I haven't read any material yet.
I've seen it before.
Okay.
Yes. Emefa, I think that the issue is not pleasant. I mean, because these are the future leaders of our country, and so examinations of that nature shouldn't be joked with. But I heard the majority chief whip, the Honorable Anodompre, just over I think on Thursday or Friday or so, who indicated that there's been some approval of about 90 million Ghana cedis to be disbursed to WAEC for the examination. But Emefa, it is very important for us to understand the trajectory, right? The history behind this whole thing. Emefa, before the MPP came into power in 2017, January, students were made to pay WAEC or BECE examination fees. And as a result of that, I saw some. I mean, I had a lot of students who, because of 100 cedis or a 200 cedis examination fee, would drop out of school. And so when this MPP government, under the leadership of Nana Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, came to power, we took it upon ourselves, right, that despite restoring teacher training allowance, we're also going to foot the bills of BECE examinations, despite the introduction of free senior high school. And I'll give you some statistics. In 2017, the government disbursed about 21 million Ghana cedis to cover these BECE examinations, right? For all public students who were writing this BECE examination.
Yes.
And it has been consistent up until now, for the past 7 years, until these recent issues that we are having, which I will not sit on this platform and glorify. It is not something that should happen, that WAEC will come and complain that, they've not received the requisite amount to conduct the BECE, examination. And so I would indulge on the Education Minister and the Finance Ministry to, as a matter of urgency, this is not politics, it's about the future of our students, right? And so despite the huge and monumental achievement of this government in terms of footing the bills of BECE candidates, which has saved a lot of students from dropping out of school just because of the examination fees, I will not glorify this issues that are coming up. But I'm happy that as a pragmatic and proactive government, the majority chief whip has indicated that monies have been disbursed for these examinations to be rated. And so that's the indications that we have.
Thank you very much. It's a lie. Agents lie.
Everything is a lie.
Oh, no.
Meanwhile, you don't provide any evidence that shows otherwise.
You see, the host is here. She should know better. And that is why she listens and she knows what I'm talking about.
So what's the lie?
He made mention of another umbrella, says they've disbursed 90 million, right? It's a lie. WAEC PRO came out to say that it is just 45 million.
So there have been disbursements.
Oh, that has been promised.
So they have said that if they don't receive at least 50% of what is required,
so it's been promised.
They cannot administer and thereby even go through the pre and post of the.
And 45 has been disbursed.
No, it has not been disbursed. It has not even been disbursed. It has been promised that it will be disbursed. That's what the PRO.
But if that is even disbursed, will it be 50%? Yes, that would be 50% of 90. Yeah. So then if that is disbursed, then we can go on with the BECE.
The other thing was that, Emefa, I like the fact that before the commencement of this conversation, you said that you've not really heard anything like that. You've not gone into history to ever think of anything like this happening. And for the first time also, under this government, it's very difficult to even know the dates for BECE. During our times, it was March, April. We knew that these were the times where June, July. We knew the time we're writing WASI and all of that. Now it takes us by surprise.
Was this not after COVID? When things changed?
After COVID, don't you think that has been enough time to be able to put all of these things back? Our lives have been back.
This is not true. This is not true.
Tell me a part of our life
even at our university level, our educational calendar has been disrupted as a result of COVID.
Part of our life that has returned to normal.
And then you are doing politics with this.
Apart from our education.
You are doing politics with this. You are doing politics with this.
I am telling you, tell me a part of our life that has not been returned to normal post-COVID, apart from our education ministry. I invested at struggling.
That UPS calendar is not exactly as it was.
Even University of Ghana, we are now working towards returning back to the normal calendar.
Even UPS's educational calendar hasn't been restored.
And if are you listening? I'm saying that.
I am listening.
I'm saying that. Show me a part of our lives that have not been restored to normal. Apart from our education ministry, is UPS in the health sector? It's Legon in the railway sector.
So what are you driving at? What are you driving at? What are you driving at?
The education ministry is reluctant in its duties because every part of our life has been restored to normal, and there should be a clear path on the restoration process. We do not even know when.
He doesn't have any point. Do you know why? Do you know why he doesn't have any point? Academic calendars are not drawn by the education ministry. Please.
You said that TES is under education ministry. Is our schools under Kolebu's management? What are you talking about?
You see, I don't know. I don't know what he's driving at. I don't know what he's driving at.
I'm not saying that the ministers come and draw academic calendar.
You are saying that we don't know the date for
the poor management at the top is a reflection of what is happening down there. And I'm saying that we should have a pragmatic step on how we can restore education calendars back to the usual. If even, you see, UPSA and the other public universities, if not for anything at all, when they are graduating. I know UPSA final year students are writing exams now. I know that, it is still a public knowledge. But we do not even know when BECE is even supposed to be happening. We don't even know when our WASI students...
But you agree, right?
It is not true.
Oh, it is true.
Okay, what's the date for WASI? If it's not true, tell us.
Calm down.
If you're able to tell us, I will empty my pocket for you.
But this is verifiable. I mean,
so
don't do
verify it and
don't do this. I mean, this is date for writing what? Date for writing BECE.
Verify it and
what I'm interested in is your lies. That
which one again?
And
let me make my point.
Go to the issue of the BECE.
Don't run away. Don't run away.
No, I'll go to it. No,
don't run away. We are talking. Don't run away.
I want to even expose it because there's no lie in whatever I'm talking about.
Please go on.
Then the other thing is about BECE candidates and and how we are being manhandling them now. To the
Is it manhandling?
Oh yes, to the extent that if you're a student and you're getting ready to write BECE, and these are the things.
So would you say that? Do you say that we should go back to the old system where parents or students were made to pay the fee by themselves? Then we won't be having this kind of news that government has.
So are they trying to tell us that because they helped foot the registration fees for BECE candidate, that is why we are having this problem?
Well,
if you pay for my registration fee and because of that I cannot write the exams, what is the essence of paying for that registration fee? If that's what we are saying. And the other thing that I want to even draw your attention to is the lack of textbooks for these students. I remember recently one member of parliament for a particular constituency donating textbooks and past questions to students. And I remember Adam Agbana also saying that he's paying for students to now write mock. Our students are not even able to write mock exams. And I remember my time when I was in JHS2, I started writing mock. JHS2, we wrote about 4 mock exams to get us prepared because BECE was it was a transitioning period. So they needed to get us prepared. But our students are not even being prepared anymore. It is not even about the amount of money we owe WAEC. It is about the process and how we are treating our basic schools. It is unfortunate.
Emefa, for 7 years, a government have been able to foot the bills of BECE candidates who ordinarily would have dropped out of school.
His concern is what is happening today.
Don't worry. By not paying or by not being in the financial position to pay for their BECE. And you have a situation where WAEC comes to complain that we need 50% of these monies disbursed. And you have a government saying that, okay, we've disbursed that 50% for you. You sit here and say that is a maltreatment of these students. I'll not go into that now. He talks about this calendar issues and you don't know the time of writing BECE and WASI. I mean, today the internet is there. Dates for writing BECE and WASI are always communicated to the student. Now, disruptiveness in academic calendar does not mean that the education ministry is not working. After COVID, and let me tell you something. At University of Ghana, that's where I schooled, and so I can speak to that.
Right.
Normally, when we used to graduate in August, September, right? That's the normal date for graduation.
And that will be also normal period for your academic.
Exactly. Yeah. But when COVID struck and post-COVID, activities, post-COVID activities, we graduated in January.
Now, his point is that if you look, he admits that COVID distracted a lot of things. There's a lot of disruption in a lot of things. However, you would see that many parts of our lives have come back to normal, except for the education.
Because the education system is such a way that it takes time. And so I was coming to, what you just said.
He has a fair point there.
Yes, he has a point, but I'm saying that it is not, it is not to say that the education ministry is incompetent because of these changes in the calendars. Let me finish. You see, you are the one.
Don't go and tag people that I have not tagged. I have tagged the education minister. I have not tagged the education ministry. He heads that.
But how do you separate his person from the?
It will run down, But the person that is in charge of enhancing.
Let's talk about other issues.
The education minister has failed, and he's continuously failing.
Our viewers,
our viewers. Dr. Edichum.
Heads of a feather.
Our viewers are the best judge. Emefa, let's talk about other issues.
Okay, guys. I'm excited about this one because the Parliamentary Committee to Review the Constitution have been making some interesting recommendations. And the part that excites me is the fact that they think that deputy ministerial position really is not necessary, should be taken out. They also agree that running a government with a lean number is a very good one. They opened it up and said that, well, you can appoint as many as you need to get the job done, but should not exceed 25. And then I was really surprised. What does
that mean?
What does that even mean at all? But they also maintained the 277 members of parliament, I think. And a few others, if I'm just forgetting. But these two really caught my attention. And what would you say to that?
Well, I think that...
Let me start with Reginald.
No problem.
Reginald.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that those recommendations are well in line, especially considering where we are now. There are so much that we spend on our ministers. I would think that when we are able to rather invest that into capital expenditure, it will rather yield the country a whole lot of good instead of its recurrent in nature. The other thing that I think that is very important to note is that it's coming in this year, 2024 election, where this election is very crucial. You have both presidential candidates of the two big political parties in Ghana, i.e. Bawumia and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, suggesting that they want to run a lean government, because that has been one of the things that we've sat on TV to make mention of. Too many ministers. I do not know the reasoning that went into the number specific, but I like the fact that they've been able to come up with we having like a leaner government to be able to ensure that they are working relatively harder. The other thing I want to point out is we being able to put this into perspective and looking at how both parties are playing with it. Bawumia promises to keep a very lean government, but not appointing more than 60 ministers, right? 50 ministers.
50.
The NDC promises
and then
60?
the NDC promises not to keep more than 60 ministers. And in your introduction, you also made mention that it doesn't matter the number of people that helps you get there, but don't make sure you're not keeping more than this number of ministers. And I like the fact that you made mention of it, because the NPP named their campaign team, and as a matter of fact, how many people on that campaign team alone? And if a campaign that is even getting you to become president has got this number of people that you need to be able to amplify your voice, then what happens to the government of the nation? You know, the NDC also named their campaign team, and you saw how lean it is. It is a clear example of how they want to manage the country, even with a leaner government. You know, being able to be effective and efficient, making the most output out of the least input. You know, have a very small, sharp brains and get them to deliver the work instead of having too many people. I think that recommendation from the
finally with you, do you think that as a rule of law, as they are asking, the president should pay duties on his salary and emolument?
I think that is just fair that it's done. You know, there's always something that we usually use to research on where kids leadership by example.
Equality.
You know,
will that really amount to being equal?
It's to really amount to the president not thinking that he's superhuman, but he's also a citizen and he's also a citizen, and so he should also pay tax. You know, there are so many other things that should be scrapped, of which John Mahama has promised that he will scrap them. What are we paying our ministers DST? Why are we paying, like, so many things that we are paying for our ministers that we shouldn't necessarily be spending so much money on?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that these conversations they are good. It's coming up because the Ghanaian people have had this conversation for far too long. And my only issue is how these recommendations can be implemented, whether the political actors, because at the end of the day, they implement policies, right? So you can make your recommendations. But if these political actors do not commit themselves to the tenets of whatever you've recommended, I think that it would amount to nothing, because we've had series of recommendations.
Would you agree?
No, I agree perfectly with, because the idea and the intention of whatever they are doing is to limit the powers of the president, right? And the executive body, which is something that all of us have been crying about, because once you give somebody power, absolute power, it's
just
exactly, and it might create problems, because people would rather be loyal to the person rather than being loyal to the state.
The 25 will not be loyal to the person.
No, they'll be loyal to the. Right now, we are saying that deputy ministers must not be appointed by the president. I also think that even some of our state institutions, like the police, like the military, some of these appointments must not be appointed by the president. There has to be a certain bipartisan processes that people would go through for them to be elected or nominated for such positions, so that the issue of opposition parties, i.e. whether MPPs in opposition or NDCs in opposition, complaining that these actors of some of the very strategic and key institutions are loyal to party in government rather than the state. We can eliminate those kind of things. For example, an electoral commission. Look at the process where we nominate. Electoral commission is being nominated by the president, who is the leader of a political party. We are in Africa. Oh yes, we are in Africa.
That's a very nice way to end. Did you think that he should pay taxes?
Oh yes, I think that once it is a salary, and by one way or the other, the president is a government worker, right? He works for government. That is the executive arm of government. There is no crime in paying taxes on his salaries. In fact, it becomes like what he said, a shining example to all other workers. I see, I am the number one gentleman of the land. I pay taxes on my salary. So you have to also pay taxes on your salary.
We had a good conversation, did we not?
Of course.
Except for the propaganda that, you know.
That we've really had a very good conversation. I really appreciate being here. Thank you so much to you and your team for having me. And I wish the NPP luck in getting a running mate. And I know that the good people of Ghana will be able to, vote the NDC come 2024 elections.
So I hear that you are the
Emefa,
Deputy Director of Campaigns and Advocacy for the NDC.
You heard it.
How's it going?
Have you verified that?
Is it true? You tell me.
You are here, I'm telling you
Yeah.
to go and verify.
How best can I verify it than you? I'm verifying.
Yes, I am the Deputy Director for Campaigns and Advocacy for the NDC National.
Okay, how's that coming along? Are the youth gunning and are they interested in politics as we see it?
Somewhere next month we are leading the biggest national youth demonstration in this country.
What are we demonstrating?
We are demonstrating against the high cost of living, and when I say this, I'm not even joking.
Okay.
I cannot think about how students are surviving this harsh economic condition. And I'm like, we can even say that to do the calculations. I think this is the worst time to ever be a student because 50 cedis cannot feed you a day, and you have to do it for 31 days, and that is more than.
Then you are enjoying good food.
Oh,
they are enjoying good food.
So 50 cedis cannot feed students a day. Really? Okay, let's break it down. How much is watch it today? So let's.
But that's not up for conversation. I think
no.
I was supposed to also give my closing remarks. I mean,
so let me give my closing remarks.
As a youth activist,
do you think
as a member
do you
of
think
the
that 50
NPP,
cedis
how
can
much do you
feed
spend
a day? How much do you spend?
For me, I cook all the time.
Yeah. So no, right now even cost of I buy tomatoes. 1 tomato for 5 cedis, 3 for 30 cedis.
Yesterday I was served
15
at an
cedis.
event. And I thought it was fried rice.
Yes, because there's no tomatoes.
Yes.
I think
cost of food have gone up.
Those
Cooking,
those conversations,
So I'm by the buffet and I say,
no.
Do you guys not do jollof? I'm saying no. I mean jollof.
No. That's the new jollof. Yes. What I'm saying is that
we can have
going through it.
So you guys are going through it.
Yes, NSS personnel are going through it. New graduates, unemployed young people are going through it, and the over 7.1 million Ghanaians that have been described as by the GSS. You saw that report. You saw that report. Mm-hmm. It's a nice one.
Yeah.
That we are sending people into poverty.
I think that
there was a new one that suggests that 8.3 million Ghanaians slept a day without food.
I may be part of that.
Do you know what it suggests?
I may be part
Security.
of that.
Thank you so much for having me.
Emefa, I think that
you're very emotional. You want to? Would you need tissue?
I think that you see, these are theatrics, but I mean it's okay.
I mean, I didn't do it.
But you see, the point is, the 2024 general elections will be an elections where the Ghanaian people.
Hey, come down.
Man, Emefa, where the Ghanaian people be.
What come down?
I mean, that come down. I say, Obi anu awada come down. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Obi anu awada come down.
I will show you a message.
No, be here faster now. Obi here faster.
No. Yes.
Emefa, let me make my closing remarks. Emefa, let me make my closing. I think that the 2024 general elections will be an elections where the Ghanaian people will be presented with two candidates. One, a candidate that have been tried and tested as president before, where the Ghanaian people in 2016 voted and rejected him abysmally for his poor performance and incompetent government. And a candidate from the NPP who, in the history of this republic, is by far the best vice president we have. No, don't talk. By far the is by far the best vice president we've had in the history of Ghana's vice presidential candidate. Again, the Ghanaian people will be presented with a choice of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is promising a better Ghana, and the Ghanaian people would have an opportunity to vote on his records in 2028. And a president who, when he becomes president, the Ghanaian people would not have any opportunity to vote or for him to be accountable to the Ghanaian people in 2028. And so the choice is for the Ghanaian people. And I know that they will vote for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Emefa, we've closed.
He told me, he says that
we've closed.
In the next 1 hour, it will be 48 hours since I last ate.
Oh,
this is it.
This is a conversation between this.
No,
it's other number. It's other number. He's used his other number. But I've seen Reginald here. I've seen Reginald. Your other number. We've closed. Your other number isn't not Reginald.
Serious.
You've typed a message and you are reading to us.
I really need of help because they're gonna be 48 hours very soon without food.
Oh, right.
But I'm not bothered about the food right now.
Oh, look at that.
There are so many things that are,
look at that. He's reading a message sent by himself. That's his other number.
I am telling you.
Number.
Good evening,
let's close and then let's go.
Keeps you busy, but please, I beg you, I've not eaten since month. Like you are saying,
it's 10:16.
You go through and tell me that's my other number. That I'll read through it. Read.
But how do we verify this is true?
No, I'm not. I'm telling you that there are so many young people that the GSS suggests that.
Come on, he has sent even his details.
But
But
and we are talking about
eaten this morning.
This morning, I mean, I woke up. I don't eat early in the morning. I don't eat
because
early.
Because when I use 010 or 001.
Oh no.
Guys,
no, his party's in power.
We will come back again, and I'm looking for the day where we will sit down and really discuss the presidential candidates themselves.
Yes.
Because I'm also quite confused where a presidential candidate says that he's in government, but he can't do certain things until he's been given the power.
But he's able to call that.
We can have those conversations.
And then I want us to have that conversation. But thank you for joining us. We'll like a share, we'll like a subscription, we'll like that you comment. Air your views, be part of the conversation on Youth Connect. My name is Emefa Adeti. I definitely will bring this two back again. Reginald and Akins. Have a good one today.
Thanks.
When the news breaks, when decisions are made, when society says it has to be a certain way, as young people, are we ever part of the conversation? Hi, my name is Emefa Adeti, and I invite you to be part of discussing relevant issues, be it social, political debate, religion, or culture. Let's have our say. On Youth Connect, we shall spark conversations, challenge what we ought to, and find solutions that benefit us all. On Youth Connect, we shall bring to the fore your passion, most importantly, your voice. Don't just watch or listen, act. It matters to you.